Coming into the season, no one really expected the Toronto Raptors to be as good as what they actually are, because let's be real, we had a lot of teams ahead of them in the Eastern Conference. A lot of people had the Celtics ahead of them, they had the Cavs ahead of them. A lot of people as well also had the Washington Wizards because the expectations of John Wall and Bradley Beal were pretty high. And some people even went as far as to say that the 76ers could have had a better record than the Toronto Raptors this season. And if we're being honest, when you look at the additions that the Raptors made in the offseason, it really wasn't that much. Aside from OG Anunoby, nothing really big was made. And the reason I said OG Anunoby was a big move was because I do think he was a sleeper in the draft, which we'll get to later. The Toronto Raptors this year, though, they have superseded expectations as they've gone out to a pretty good start. They're 20-8 right now, and actually they're one of the very few teams, actually one of the only 4 teams that have beaten the Houston Rockets this season. And when you look at the numbers that the individual players are putting up, it is actually really good. For starters, let's look at Kyle Lowry. Now, I know Kyle Lowry hasn't been the most efficient player, shooting below 43% from the field and averaging just 16 points per game, but he's also having 7 assists and, get this, 6 rebounds per game. And he has 7 assists to just under 3 turnovers per game. And he's shooting 87% from the free throw line, and also from 3, he's shooting pretty good. He's shooting just under 39% from 3 on 3 3-pointers made per game. And then when you factor in that he is grabbing more boards than a lot of centers in the league, and actually forget centers, players that are just significantly taller than him, he's grabbing more boards than Brook Lopez, Robin Lopez, Serge Ibaka, DeMar DeRozan, and Paul George. All of those players except for DeMar DeRozan are nearly a whole foot taller than him. And that's just ridiculous that he's grabbing more boards than them. And then when you look at DeMar DeRozan this season, he's been really solid. He's averaged 24 points per game, nearly 5 rebounds, has shot just under 49% from the field, and then from the free throw line he's shooting about 81%, and he's actually averaging 5 assists per game, which I think is really good because let's be real, this team has struggled when it came to passing the ball. They've always been near the bottom of the assist numbers, and I think that's something that they've improved this season because when you look at their numbers across the board, they're top 10 in a lot of major categories for this team. They're 4th in points per game, 3rd in scoring margin, 5th in fast break points, 4th in points in the paint, 9th in assists per game, 8th in assist to turnover percentage, 5th in effective field goal percentage, 10th in free throw percentage, 4th in field goals made, 6th in blocks per game, 5th in blocks percentage, 8th in steals per game, 5th in opponent effective field goal percentage, 6th in opponent shooting percentage. And if I keep going, I'm just going to keep boring you guys. When it comes to the numbers, this team is up there with the elite teams in the league. And then also when you consider the fact that they are 20-8, they are 3rd in the Eastern Conference. They have literally the exact record as the Cavs, except that the Cavs have played more games. They have the same amount of losses, but the Cavs have 3 more wins because they've played more games. And then also when it comes to the numbers, they have 4 players who are at least in double digits. Jonas Valanciunas is actually doing pretty well. He doesn't play that many minutes. He only plays 21 minutes per game. He's actually putting up really decent numbers. 11 points isn't much, but 11 points, 8 rebounds. Also is shooting just under 58% from the field, and also he's shooting pretty solid forget solid, he's shooting great from the free throw line for a big man. Just for any player, to be honest, he's shooting better from the free throw line than DeMar DeRozan is, than Serge Ibaka is, and better than actually everybody on the team except for Kyle Lowry. He is shooting just under 87% from the free throw line. To be exact, 86.7% from the free throw line. That is really good. And for limited minutes, where he's only playing about 21 minutes per game and he's grabbing just under 2 offensive, he's actually grabbing exactly 2 offensive rebounds a game. I find that really good. He leads the team in offensive rebounds per game, and he's playing just under 21 minutes. And also Serge Ibaka is playing really solid this year. He's averaging 14 points, 6 rebounds, and having really good shooting splits, shooting 51% from the field, and also is shooting 40% from 3. He's shooting really good from 3. And also when you consider the fact that DeMar DeRozan isn't the greatest shooter in the world, so having someone at the 4 position that can stretch the floor and space the floor and is a really solid defender, not a great defender like he used to be in Oklahoma, but a really solid defender in Serge Ibaka, I think that's really good for this team. team. He's attempting just under 5 threes a game, and he's making at least 2 of them. I think that's really good for this team that really struggles with spacing. Now, the player I really want to touch on for this team that I think that they have really slept on, not this team, excuse me, but people in, the media, NBA fans, basketball fans, the player on this team that people are sleeping on is OG Anunoby, because OG Anunoby is really shocking not only me, even though I knew he was a sleeper coming into the draft, but he's shocking a lot of people that are Raptors fans. If you talk to a lot of Raptors fans, they're really shocked at what they're seeing from him, because he is performing at a really, really good level. Now, if you look at his numbers at face surface, it's not that great, just under 7 points, an assist, a steal. Even though he's not getting to the line that much, he's not shooting that great from the free throw line, shooting just under 70%. But when you look at his shooting splits, it's actually really, really good for a rookie, as he's shooting just under 49%. To be exact, it's 48.9% from the field, and also he is shooting just under 43% from 3. Now, I understand he's not getting the most minutes, but that's really good. He's maximizing the minutes that he can get, and he's taking advantage of it. And when it comes to the defensive side of the ball, he's actually doing really, really good. If you actually think about it, he's probably their second best defender after Kyle Lowry, because Serge Ibaka kind of has fallen off defensively. He's not who he used to be. And when you look at OG Anunoby, the potential is just there. He is really, really something on the defensive side of the ball. He's had multiple games where he'll just come out and just grab steals like it's nothing. He guards really, really good perimeter, players. I mean, when they go against teams like the Rockets, sometimes he'll even line up against James Harden. Sometimes he'll defend him. OG Anunoby's a really, really good defender. And I think, honestly, his potential, don't get me wrong, guys, I'm not saying this is where he's going to be, but he has kind of the potential of a Kawhi Leonard. Now, the reason he was drafted so late was due to injuries in college and things like that, but he's had some really, really standout games. Actually, there's one game I want to point out in particular. Yes, I know they played Phoenix, but he also had 16 points, and he shot really, really efficiently, which is something that I really admire of his. Actually, he only played 24 minutes. I might add that in as well. He shot just under 67% from the field, 66.7% from the field to be exact, and from 3 he went 4 of 5. Yes, 80% from 3. I mean, he's really, really efficient when it comes to scoring, which is something that I like. And he can play both sides of the ball. So, when they develop his game a bit more, I expect him to be a really, really good two-way player. And from 3, he can space the floor. And like I said just now, he's a really efficient scorer. Let's just be real here. So, OG Anunoby is also a bright spot for this team. Really, really good sleeper for this team, to be honest. A lot of teams really passed up on him, and I think he's going to be special in the league. So when it comes to the Toronto Raptors, they are a really, really strong dark horse candidate in the Eastern Conference. Now, I will say this. To conclude this video, I'm going to end it saying this. The Raptors, let's just be honest here. They are a team that every year in the regular season we have a conversation about, can they beat LeBron James and whatever team he's on, usually the Cavaliers, because that's when they started having their success. But the Toronto Raptors, when it comes to the playoffs, I have never seen a team flip-flop in such a opposite direction that it is just a team that you can't even recognize. When it comes to the playoffs, DeMar DeRozan and Kyle Lowry primarily, they just turn into players that you don't even recognize. Whether it's them going to more games that they should have against the Milwaukee Bucks last year, or them just getting swept off of the face of the planet by the Cavs last year in ways that I just can't imagine. I mean, this team just does not show up when it really matters in the playoffs. Now, does that mean that they can't change it this year? I mean, it's up to them. It really is up to them. There are two players who have really, really good talents. Kyle Lowry is a great rebounder for his size. DeMar DeRozan's a really, really good scorer. Actually, is really efficient. I understand he doesn't really stretch the floor that well, but there are limitations to his game. Let's just be honest here. Serge Ibaka's playing nice. OG Anunoby's playing really well. Also, Valanciunas is taking advantage of the minutes that he's given. I mean, this team, they have some weapons to contend in the Eastern Conference. I don't expect them to beat the Cavs, but they're a legitimate contender in the Eastern Conference, and hopefully they can carry this level of consistency and proficiency into the playoffs, like I hope basically every single year. So if you guys like this video, hit that like button, comment down below if you agree or disagree with what I had to say. Also, you guys subscribe if you're new to the channel, hit the bell next to to be notified. Also, you guys, follow me on Twitter, follow me on Instagram, and add me on Snapchat. The links will be down below in the description box. So without further ado, you guys, I'm out. Peace.
Popping all these pills, she said she used to it. She wanna go way up. Okay, baby, if you're used to it. And I know that you a grown woman. And I know that you know what you do.